This video is sponsored by Raycon. Stick around to after the video to learn more.
I'm feeling really fresh today, guys. I love technology. You know what I'm saying? You know who didn't have technology? Vikings, man. You know, that would suck, okay? They didn't have Raycons, they didn't have technology. So what would they do? Go and pillage things. Like, that's what they did, because they were bored. That's ultimately why they did it, okay? This is history lessons, guys. And this is where we're starting.
That's a really sell-out opening, Sam, and I like it. Well done, bro. Well done.
Worked.
Now let's actually get to the news, which is that Assassin's Creed Valhalla has been unveiled with an official cinematic trailer today, and I think it's actually pretty good. I mean, like, the trailer's good. We don't know what the actual game will be like, but the trailer looked cool, and they also provided some details in interviews about what to expect. Let's talk about it after the drop. All right, Sam, so tell us about your Assassin's Creed experience. How much of an Assassin's Creed fan are you?
I've played so many of these games. Liar! Now, look, I have played a few of them back in the past, but like, in reality, I haven't played any of the new ones. It's been something that I have not returned to at least 6-7 years or something. I literally played them because Thick Boy had 1 or 2 of them on PlayStation 3. But we have
Assassin's
been following
Creed Black Flag, man.
Yes,
that was
even
the best shit
Conrad
ever.
liked Black Flag, our other brother that doesn't play games. That's how good that game is. I have to go on and actually play that game. But I'm not a huge fan of Assassin's Creed, but I've been following it, of course, because we do follow the news cycle, and we know that throughout the years, it's gone through a little bit of an up and down, especially Ubisoft has gone through a bit of an up and down cycle, everybody.
Yes, they have. Well, look, we have known that a new Assassin's Creed was coming for a while. There's always more Assassin's Creed coming, right? There's no spoiler in that. This one was codenamed Kingdom, and it was rumored to be a sort of Norse-themed game, right? That's been sort of circulating for a little while now. We got confirmation of that yesterday with an unveil of a sort of like thumbnail image that they did like an 8-hour Twitch stream for this person, literally just created it from scratch, and then it was like, cool, it's called Valhalla, we'll see the trailer today. We saw the trailer today, and it contained a fair amount of detail, and there were interviews done after that with the creative director of the game, and he provided additional details. So let's talk about everything we know about Assassin's Creed Valhalla at this point.
Okay, so the game actually starts in Norway. We've been to Norway, by the way, okay? God of War, we went there like last year, no, the year before. God, it goes quick. And this is the actual quote. So, sail from the harsh and mysterious shores of Norway. Well, we were there. It wasn't harsh and mysterious, but it was very nice, okay?
I wouldn't describe it as mysterious personally, but I don't know, maybe any Nords in the chat want to clear that up for us? I don't know.
Maybe we didn't see all the mysterious places. We were only there for 4 days. But you can't have a Vikings game without seeing Scandinavia, and Norway is the setting for the start of the game.
Because that's right, yes, you do start in Norway, but then you will strike out from there to England, where obviously Vikings did a hell of a lot of raiding and pillaging, and they also built settlements, which we'll come back to later. But that's the overall setting of the game. He did say there would be some surprise other locations as well. Who knows? Maybe a random quick trip to Australia. What do you reckon?
Who knows?
We're going to see Vikings in Australia.
Well, we did have Vikings.
That game. Vikings down under.
Yes, we definitely did have Vikings because it was only a small distance between. It was a small trip over the Isles. But look, one thing I did like about the cinematic was how friendly the Vikings looked. You know, let's be real.
Absolutely.
Let's be real. You know, when they were pillaging a town, they saw an attractive female. They'd be like, "Don't you dare touch her! Don't you dare! Okay, you leave that woman alone. Okay, she's a person too."
Vikings are definitely known as the leaders of the Me Too movement. They were really the start of it. You know, that really began there. So it's good to know that the game is properly depicting them. Well done. So let's talk about the protagonist. Okay, you are playing as someone called Ivor, which I believe is how it's pronounced. Don't quote me on that. It's going to be Ivor, and you can play as either a man or a woman. You get to choose like you did with the previous game, and you are a Viking, and you are pivotal in this story of, you know, moving from Norway and building this settlement in England. You'll also get to customize beards, tattoos, and war paint. Unclear whether or not you will be able to customize the beard on the female option. So let's hope Ubisoft deliver on that one. And you're also going to have your own longboat that you can customize as well. The other thing is that you are obviously going to have a raven along with you. Anyone that knows Norse mythology knows that Odin, his like animal, the form he often appeared in was a raven. The raven will be accompanying you, and it will play the role of the scout bird that you use to like ping stuff on the maps in the previous games, etc., etc. So that's a nice kind of like thematic link that works quite well.
Now, King Alfred, he is a historical character, and he's a real guy, okay? He's a real dude. Now, in history, he's actually one of the very few people in England that was able to repel the Vikings with force and diplomacy. Okay, so he is a villain in this game. But in history, do the English people see him as a villain? I think not.
Yeah, this is definitely a question that people have about the way they'll treat this character because, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, like, you need an antagonist, you need someone you can hate, but at the same time, like, King Alfred was defending his people, and he was also a man of letters, and he was quite merciful and intelligent and whatever else, and so if they just make him this kind of, like, you know, I will kill all the Vikings, that's it, whatever, then that's not good. But the developer actually did speak to this point. He did say that in the trailer he is shown in that villainous way, but over the course of the game you'll see there's a lot more nuance to him. Alfred the Great is a very important historical figure we want to treat right, and to do so, it's all in the subtleties and nuances you'll find. So that's good to know that they're at least aware of that, and they're trying to do something interesting with that villain rather than just like, I'm English.
No, I think that, you know, when so many people are going to do a bit of research on this and understand this character, it would be very risky ground for them to go out there and try and rewrite history or whatever in a way that was displeasing, you know, to the English people or whatever. So who knows? And there's also going to be settlements here. Now, that is something that can be pretty interesting in terms of you have like a camp that you can build up over time, you can return to, and you can actually customize. And yeah, so that will be interesting.
Yeah, well, I think this is a really key point because the developer actually does speak about this as really redefining this sort of structure of the game. Assassin's Creed Odyssey and Origins as well, actually, were kind of just about pushing out from the beginning point and just covering more and more of the map. Like, it was just constantly going forward, uncovering every new part, etc. This one is very much about like finding something and then coming back to your base. You go and raid a little village somewhere and bring the supplies back to your base. Something big goes down and then you come back to your base to discuss it, right? So that's a very different flow for this game, and I think that's good because my biggest complaint about Assassin's Creed Odyssey was that it was too big, man. Like, I'm sorry, but it was. There was just so much useless space on that map.
Yeah, I think, well, we don't know for sure what the size of the map is, but it does lean to the idea that if you have to constantly return to somewhere, it's either going to be geographically smaller or there's going to be some sort of warp, fast travel. But sure. I think in the industry there has been a bit of a swing away from like bigger is better. Well, not necessarily. A lot of people are just not really vibing that these days. So hopefully they do go down the route of just making the actual environment a little bit more, detailed. And they do give us a little bit of detail as to what you'll be doing also in those villages. As you grow your village, new buildings will be available to customize and upgrade, such as barracks, blacksmith, and tattoo parlors. So that will be interesting.
The other thing that they'll have is mini games. So you're going to be able to do fishing, dice, drinking, and something called flighting or flitting. I don't know exactly. I had to look this up, but apparently this is the equivalent of Viking rap battles, where two people trade insults back and forward, usually in verse. So I'm down for that. I reckon that would be sick. I would definitely play that game mode.
I think Eminem, if he was born then, would be quite the Viking. He would be quite the Viking, okay? If he was born then. There will be combat too, everybody, okay? Now, of course there'll be combat. I'm like, there will be combat in Assassin's Creed.
Nice, Sam. Nice. Big reveals here, guys.
Big reveals. But there's something that they are doing in this, is they're doing a lot of dual... It looks like there's an emphasis on dual wielding, especially on dual shield wielding. I mean, like totally. Double cap or something. Like, I don't know what this is going to be, but
that'd be sick. I mean,
I wonder if we're going to see some interesting combat styles with the dual wielding, especially with the dual shields. It could be interesting.
The other thing they went to links to sort of assure people of is that this is still an Assassin's Creed game. It is going to have those links to Assassins and Templars. We did see the hidden blade pop out at the end of the trailer, which was a nice surprise. Yeah, I mean, like you are still going to have Layla from the last two games. She's the person sort of like in the Animus controlling these historical figures. There's still the present day is going to be playable, which I know a lot of people hate about the Assassin's Creed series. The developers have been super clear that's never going away. It's always going to be there, and so it will return this time around as well.
Yeah, it's such an integral part of the story and the lore of Assassin's Creed. It's hard to just...
Unfortunately, yes.
It's impossible
super
to wipe
goofy.
that.
It really shouldn't be, but like...
Yeah, well, look, the movie went so fantastically, and it had a huge emphasis on present day and all that. You know, it went fantastically.
Fassbender's best work.
It really was. It really was.
Yeah.
Now, look, there's no multiplayer. That's not, a gigantic surprise there. There's not going to be any multiplayer. Now, this is the quote. Valhalla is a single-player game, a Ubisoft spokesperson clarified, with many online components encouraging players to share their progress and creativity. So maybe that's just them wanting to, you're able to show your base, show how you've customized it, and maybe show your progress, but that's pretty much going to be the extent it seems.
There are other more specific details that we have, like platforms, for example. Okay, so this is coming to consoles. It's actually coming to Xbox One and Series X, PS4 and PS5, right? On the Xbox, it's using what's called smart delivery, which means that if you buy it on Xbox One, you will also be able to play it on the Xbox Series X, and it will get an upgrade in terms of its visuals and its performance. So that's something that Microsoft is offering on a number of games. It's a compulsory feature for many games, optional to some. Ubisoft are utilizing that here. So yes, you can expect that. PS4 and PS5, we don't know how they'll be handling it. On the PC, it's going to be coming to the Epic Games Store and to Uplay. It's not coming to Steam. Oh my God, PC Games subreddit immediately explodes. Angry. They're not going to have a bar of that. But good news though, guys, don't worry if you're not satisfied with those options. You can, of course, play it on the best platform. I'm talking, of course, about Stadia. It is going to be coming to Stadia as well. So that's very good news. Thank God.
Very exciting. Very exciting. And look, it is coming out holiday 2020 now. They've just announced it, so they've obviously anticipated the development time leading up to that, because it is COVID-19 at the moment. So I'm sure that they understand that, like, that's probably going to be the release date. It's not like there's going to be, hopefully, not another pandemic that pushes this back. So we're probably going to see it at holiday 2020. And the general reception has been pretty good. It's on 97% like ratio on the official Ubisoft North American YouTube website. So YouTube website, God, that sounds boomer. But
wow, that is super boomer. I'm on the YouTube these days, guys.
That is super boomer.
The biggest thing for me personally is I'm just interested to see how much they sort of evolve the formula. Like, I liked Odyssey, don't get me wrong, but it was just too much stuff that didn't need to be there. I really, for example, look at stuff like, God of War, and I'm like, cool, you've got a game here that's like 30 tight hours, and it's just like, there's no fat in this, and it's just perfect, you know what I mean? Then I look at stuff like The Witcher, right, which is obviously much longer than that, but because the writing is so solid, it really carries it through. I feel like Assassin's Creed Odyssey is kind of right in between those, where it's trying to grab at all of those things at once without really nailing anything. And I think if they just had the confidence to refine what they're doing down, so it doesn't need to be 60, 80, 100 hours, and they just make a really solid, fucking cool 40-hour game. I reckon they could make a fantastic Assassin's Creed, and I would totally be down for it.
Yeah, I mean, look, they've been doing Assassin's Creed now for, 10, 12 years, whatever it is, like, more, right? They've got a lot of time in this franchise. It's just about sharpening the tool and making this as best as possible in this current gaming environment, which always changes. But, I think the Ghost Recon thing has really made them have to come back and go, cool, how do we make this unique? Because all the games were becoming the same amalgamated thing, where it was all just like a checkbox of a bunch of different things they tried to stuff into the game. So I'm hopeful that this will also be different to the previous kind of Ubi titles that we've been seeing now for the last 4 or 5 years. So it will be interesting, and I do feel like this may be making its own tracks away. I hope it does, at least.
This is the first game they are releasing since they promised that they are revisiting their development process and the objectives they set for their games. Proof is in the pudding, and this is the first pudding out of the oven.
Terrible.
So hopefully they nail it. Either way, I am looking forward to it. As I said, I think this looked like a cool trailer. I love this setting, by the way. I love the show Vikings. I love anything to do with Norse mythology. Neil Gaiman's book, by the way. Go and read it. It's amazing. Anyway, that's the video, guys.
That's it.
We're off for the weekend. Maybe not. Maybe we'll be back tomorrow. We don't know. Either way, we'll see you soon. Laymen out.
Laymen out.
Okay, are we ready to start the episode, Sam? Sam. Sam. Raycon offers their wireless earbuds in a range of fun colours and patterns. They're super comfortable and come in a variety of fit options. Raycon earbuds start at about half the price of any other premium wireless earbud on the market, and they sound just as amazing as the other top audio brands you know. Their latest model, the Everyday E25, is the best one yet, with 6 hours of playtime, seamless Bluetooth pairing, more bass, and a more compact design that gives you a nice noise-isolating fit, fam. It also comes in new, fun colors too. Pretty cool. Come check it out at buyraycon.com/Laymen. Thank you, Raycon, for sponsoring the episode. Give it a click, it always helps the Laymen guys. We will see you next time. Laymen out.